Welcome to the NFT MetaJungle. I am Emma, aka Nifty Meta Girl, and super excited to bring you another episode of our podcast. In this episode, we're going to be highlighting a group of 8 photographers from the landscape genre, and these are featured artists in the live exhibit happening right now in Venice, Italy, as part of Venice Biennale. Now, this is happening at the SuperChief Gallery, and MetaJungle has worked with SuperChief to sponsor this curated exhibit entitled Discovering Photography in Web3. Now, some cool things to know about this particular exhibit. These are all photographs that have been collected by AlphaTrilogy over the last 15 months or so, and I worked with AlphaTrilogy to curate this exhibit. And overall, we're featuring 98 photographs from 90 different photographers with a wide variety of genres and subgenres of photography. And really, our goal has been to curate an exhibit that will help catch people's attention and share our passion for photography in Web3. As we curated this exhibit, we gave close attention to landscape photography because we feel like this is a genre that is one in which those that, even if they're novice collectors all the way to experienced collectors, they could really connect with the natural beauty that surrounds us. And so you'll see that be a common thread that winds through all of the photographs we're going to share today and be able to hopefully catch people's attention. The photographers that we're featuring today are some of the most world-renowned landscape photographers, to those that are just starting off their journey but yet have gained a lot of recognition. Another cool feature about this particular exhibit, or this particular collection, is you'll find 2 different photographs that were part of a collaboration that AlphaTrilogy curated. It was the first collector curated collection that was featured on Silica, which is a really cool thing. And one of the details that AlphaTrilogy really paid attention to when curating that exhibit was he wanted to make sure that every piece that was in the curated collection was one that he would hold in his collection. So that really rings true that he has definitely collected from that particular collection and has appreciated them so much that they made it into this in real life exhibit. Now, the first artist that we're going to highlight is really the motivation for this particular exhibit happening in Venice, Italy. Gianluca Podesta is an Italian landscape photographer from northern Italy, and his epic images use nature to help paint his vision. And we know that he has always been fascinated by American authors, and he brings their American style into his photography and to the location where he's going, which can be a little bit tricky. But he has really educated himself in photography by following tutorials, video sessions, and making mistakes day after day until he has finally created what he sees as his signature style. And we really think that that shines through. As you see pieces that Gianluca has created, they really do stand out as beautiful representations. Something also that you can tell shines through Gianluca's work is his love for the areas around him. And many of his photographs do capture the beauty that is there in his own backyard. He has won numerous competitions and received many nominations during his career. Some of these would include MIFA, Epson International Pano Award, NDA Award, Trunenberg, and his work has appeared in many publications and magazines, both online and in print. This first photo that we are opening up this particular part of the exhibit is called The Cave, and it is an absolutely beautiful waterscape. And this is from his collection called The Sound of the Sea version 2. And with this particular piece, it really is a great example of Gianluca's work. It is something that captures the water so beautifully. The lighting is absolutely gorgeous. It really kind of whisks you away to another place, and you feel like this could be an image captured in a fantasy. But the description that Gianluca includes with this piece is the final chapter is here. Even the sea is tired. Also, nature starts to calm down because after a long day of play, it's time to rest. The long surf plays a relaxing song. The seagulls say goodbye to the sun, and the wind blows away all the stress. And you can stay simply there, enjoying this incredible end of the concert. So really beautiful words to go along with this absolutely gorgeous image. And with, like I mentioned, with Gianluca's pieces, this is just an area that you just want to visit yourself. And I know that he is a very, very lucky person that he gets to spend as much time in these beautiful settings as he does. So wonderful, great example of a piece that really anyone can connect with and be able to hopefully begin their photography journey. Now, the next artist that we're featuring is Daniel Kordan, and Daniel is a very well-known photographer, especially in the Instagram world. He actually has 1.8 million followers on Instagram, which is pretty remarkable. He's a landscape photographer based in Bali, and he works with Nikon Europe and many other well-known organizations. He has publications in magazines such as Digital SLR Magazine, Photography Week, Photography Masterclass, National Geographic, Discovery Channel. So many, many well-known publications. And he also leads a number of photography workshops throughout Europe, which are really, really exciting to participate. But this particular piece is from his Genesis collection released on OpenSea, and it's called Red Sails. And the piece that is featured is Red Sails number 4. Now, this collection is really notable because it is Daniel's signature collection, and he has worked on it for over 5 years while sailing from Russia to Greenland. And in the description, the collection description, he notes that Greenland is the birthplace for the most incredible icebergs in the world. And this collection was carefully curated and edited to really feature 30 of the most beautiful images captured during this time period. And something that amazes me throughout this collection, you see the sailboat with red sails in every single image. However, every piece still feels like a unique image. So that's something that we pay attention to with curation, that there are unique images throughout the entire collection. And it just amazes me that even though the subject is very similar in every single piece in this collection, the way that the lighting, the location of the sailboat, the icebergs being captured, they are unique in every single setting. And also another thing that's pretty amazing about this particular collection is many of the icebergs that are photographed no longer exist. So this is a place and time that can never be recreated. So just an absolutely amazing collection. And again, this was Daniel's Genesis collection introduced into the NFT space, even though his work is widely known in the traditional art world. And one of the things that AlphaTrilogy has said about this particular collection is that I'm very confident that every collector that was able to collect from this collection will be very thankful in the future because the world won't sleep on Web3 forever. And so again, beautiful collection. I actually also own a piece from this particular collection and excited to be able to hold it in my collection. Now, the next piece that we're going to introduce was taken by a photographer named Dima Chatrov, and Dima is a full-time landscape and travel photographer with a passion for mountains and expeditions to remote areas of our planet. He has actually visited 70 different countries, which is pretty remarkable. And he organizes masterclasses and seminars in photography. It's really fascinating to listen to Dima. He often hosts Twitter Spaces talking about travel photography, and I absolutely love hearing about all the experiences, and it gives you a really unique perspective into what he does, because not only is he traveling to these locations, but he's oftentimes hosting a group of photographers with him as well. So learning about the area, the culture, and also, the things that come up along the way, where to stay, where to eat, how to keep people safe, also educating them on maybe some of the cultural changes or differences to make sure that his group is having an enjoyable time, but also a safe time. And he has some absolutely crazy experiences to tell. He also loves food, and so you've oftentimes tying that into his experience. But he's just been a delightful person to get to know. So if you have a chance to jump into a Twitter space with Dima, I highly encourage it. But he has several personal exhibitions held in Toronto, Frankfurt, Montreal, and Moscow, and now we can include Italy in that as well. And his work also is held in collections in the United States, Canada, Germany, France, Spain, Switzerland, and Cuba. So definitely been recognized and appreciated by many, many different people around the world. But Dima is also the founder of the Photo Planet Club, which brings together photographers and students of his master classes held all over the world. Now, the piece that is included in this particular exhibit is called Against the Storm, and this piece is part of the curated collection with AlphaTrilogy that was presented entitled Together. But this particular piece, Against the Storm, is absolutely gorgeous and is really another highlight of Dima's work. But it's taken on the slope of Mont Blanc, which is the highest point in Europe. This legendary peak is a mixture of ice, stones, unpredictable weather, and sudden danger. And very true to the stories that Dima likes to tell about his traveling adventures, he includes that in his description as well. And he goes ahead and says, if you want to really know a person, go with him into the mountains. It is here on the edge of a knife, in the boundary conditions between life and death, that real human qualities are manifested. Friendships are born here, and relationships, proven by the time spent in the mountains, are often the strongest. Walking alone here is suicide. A snow cornice holds a person, but this is only an illusion of safety. Crevices are hiding beneath your feet, and just one step to the side opens an abyss in front of you. The mountains do not forgive carelessness. You should travel together on one rope, secure one another in case of a fall, and help each other to avoid mistakes. And that is something that is an amazing story for this particular image, but it's one in which we can definitely tie into, just a lesson for life. And AlphaTrilogy has shared that this is a piece that connected with him so well, because not only does he love the image itself, but he also has had many personal experiences that he connects with that particular element of this piece as well. So Alpha has said about this particular piece that I connect with this photo not just because it was in a collection I curated, but the subject is something I have experienced, and the photo is insanely good. And one cool detail about the Together collection curated by AlphaTrilogy is, in addition to the artist's descriptions, he also added a curator note to each of the 30 pieces that were in the collection. So at that point, AlphaTrilogy had said, look closely, two people working together to survive and experience the grandeur of Mother Nature. Love the texture of the clouds and the combination of light and shadow. It reminds us just how small we are individually, but together we can thrive, which is a great lesson and a reminder for day to day, but also such a great message for what we're trying to create in this Web3 space, building community and being able to create groups that we can really change the future. So beautiful piece, and definitely one that fits so well in this curated exhibit. Now, the next piece that we're going to feature is called Le Cinq Tiers, and this is also by Gianluca Podesta, and this is from his The Moments collection. And this is a really beautiful piece, and one that, again, provides such a great example of Gianluca's love for the area in which he lives and has grown up in. But he said that not only is this from his first collection, but it is a representation of my life and my land where I am currently living and where I grew up. This land, whose small villages are so iconic, has a deep and ancient story behind it. The rocks have been shaped for millennia by the relentless force of the sea. I've captured the most unique and fantastic weather conditions that you would ever see: snow, thunderstorms, sea storms, and mist. This collection is shot in the National Park of the Cinque Terre, near the famous village Portofino. It is the result of 3 years of hard work, research, many hours spent scouting new point of view, and almost 1,000 photos taken in order to select the perfect ones. Several days waiting for the perfect weather conditions and the countless sunrises. All this effort was to be able to create something out of the ordinary. So again, it shows his passion for his area in which he lives and really being able to pull us in and make us appreciate that. And yes, this particular piece is just absolutely gorgeous as the sun is peeking out behind the clouds. And again, signature Gianluca. It looks like it could come from a fantasy storybook, but it is just absolutely amazing to know that these areas really do exist. So this particular piece is called The Moments and is absolutely gorgeous. And the next piece that we have included is captured by a photographer named David Navia. And David is a landscape photographer based in Austria. And he shares with us in this particular piece entitled Rainbow, such a gorgeous setting. And this is from his Guardians of the Sea collection. And he says about this collection that he is presenting 12 incredible rock formations, which, like old guardians, have watched over our coasts since the immortal times. Each one of them is unique, and as such, it has been chosen to be included in this collection. And in this particular piece, it really stands out. Not only does it have a beautiful landmark there captured, but the beautiful rainbow also on the right side of it is just gorgeous. But love how he's able to capture the light breaking through, again, the clouds and highlighting the rock formation, and how there is such a contrast to the wet, slick, smooth rocks there in the foreground. But just a beautiful, beautiful body of work. And David said about this particular piece, this is the definition of being in the right place at the right time, an unexpected photo that keeps in memory a precious moment. That's one of the things that I love about photography, is that is such a way of capturing those moments in time that you can never relive. You can revisit them over and over again in the photograph, but never again will that moment actually happen. And AlphaTrilogy has said about this particular piece, this photo makes me think about hope and that there are good things to come immediately after the worst storm. So such a great reminder. Now, this next piece is captured by Armand Sarlangue, and Armand has become one of my favorite people in this space. Armand is a full-time photographer and has been for the last 15 years. A unique detail about Armand is he is the son of a photographer, and visual arts have always been a passion for him since childhood. And it's through nature photography that he expresses his creativity. Being alone in the most remote places and translating the feelings of that moment through his images is what motivates him, and he is very good at this. His nature images have been internationally awarded, exhibited in museums and major photography festivals, as well as published in 5 different books and in media such as National Geographic, BBC News, and many others. And a very, very cool detail is this year Armand was also awarded the top photography award at the Siena Photography Festival, which is really, really exciting, and we couldn't be more happy for Armand. He's very active in the MetaJungle community, and something that is so cool to know about Armand is every time he joins our Twitter spaces, somehow you can hear nature all around him. I don't know how he does this, how he plans it, but you can hear the bugs and the sounds of him just being, he must have a beautiful park right outside his window. But this particular piece that we've chosen to include is called Rebirth, and it's from his Panoramic Worlds collection. And this collection features 9 photographs, and they are just absolutely gorgeous. This particular piece is a 360-degree panorama made of 34 stitch exposures. And it's, again, the time and attention given to each of the images included in this collection is amazing, and the images are just extraordinary. But what Armand has included as far as details on this particular image is the rebirth of a land. That's what I saw when looking at this incredible landscape. Seeing and capturing an active volcano has been a dream. And it's finally happened on September of 2021. It was the main goal of this trip, and I was so excited about seeing the lava. I had carefully checked if the eruption was still active a few days before my departure and was pretty confident about it. Immediately after I arrived in Iceland, I drove to the eruption site and started to hike to a viewpoint, but I quickly realized that there was no crimson lava. The eruption had stopped just 2 days before, passing the deception. I started to realize how interesting and beautiful the scene around me was and started to explore. The site had incredibly grown up since the beginning of the eruption in March and was spreading along the Nati Valley. I was looking at the completely new land, different from what it was a few months, weeks, days ago, and also different from what it would be after the potential next eruptive phase. It was beautiful for sure, but it was also worthy to be documented in its entirety. That's when the idea of the 360-degree panorama grew in me. It was still early in the day, so I took my time to scout the area with the drone to find the best possibility. When the light finally came, I was ready, blessed with the foreboding sky and the light hitting the cold lava fields, bringing all the relief to life. In this image, you can easily understand the 360-degree perspective because the backlight looks like it is entering from both sides of the image. A few days later, the volcano woke up, but that's another story. So again, being able to capture that moment in time that never will be the same. So just absolutely amazing. And you can tell, again, the dedication. Each of the images included in this particular collection are panoramas stitched together of over 40 images per scene, which is just absolutely incredible. And AlphaTrilogy has said about this particular piece, light, shadows, color, layering, and texture. For me, this is the perfect landscape photograph. And again, another great example as to why Armand has received such a high honor. Now, the next photograph we are including is also of a natural phenomenon that was captured in time. The photographer for this piece, his name is Brandon Yoshizawa, and he's also known as Bay Photography. Now, Brandon is based in LA, California, and he is very passionate about the outdoors, loves capturing landscapes, cityscapes, and wildlife, which really shows through in all the images that we have seen him present in the NFT space. Brandon is also very active in the MetaJungle community, which we love. He's oftentimes chatting with new members in our Discord channel and sharing helpful information for those that are coming into the space. But this particular piece is called Fire Pit and is from Brandon's Yosemite Through the Seasons collection. And a really cool thing about this particular collection is with Brandon being based out of California, he's very close to Yosemite National Park, and a lot of his photography that we have seen so far was actually captured in different seasons from that particular location. And he shares with us that he really does have a love for this area in every season throughout the year and loves capturing whether it be the winter snow, fog, the spring brings the raging waterfalls, meadows of wildflowers and flooded valleys. The summer is amazing for hiking. So this piece really does capture that. With the fire pit, though, it is highlighting a phenomenon that happens at El Capitan, which is one of the mountain faces there at Yosemite. And he has said about this particular piece, catching these snow hats from Valley View usually means waiting out a storm heavy enough to dump layers on the river rocks. After the storm passed, the forecast looked promising for sunset, so I framed El Capitan in the Merced River, surrounded by these snow-covered rocks. As the sun set from behind, an amazing blast of light hit the top of El Capitan and the high clouds above, producing a magical sunset that reflected and immersed perfectly. And we have to agree with Brandon, this photo is absolutely gorgeous. And I too own a few pieces from this particular collection, and I'm just absolutely amazed by his ability to capture this particular location. And a very cool thing about this is with this actually is capturing the famous firefall phenomenon that happens at El Capitan at a very short time of the year. So again, one of those moments captured in time. AlphaTrilogy has said about this piece, Brandon has taken some amazing photos of Yosemite. I love the unexpected reflection in this one, and we have to agree with him. This final piece that is included in this part of the exhibition was also captured by Gianluca, and he is our featured photographer of this particular series. And again, we really wanted to highlight pieces that he had included. They're beautiful photographs, but also he kind of inspired this location, this exhibit happening in Italy. But this piece is also from the curated collection with AlphaTrilogy called Together. And the curated theme of that particular collection being Together was one in which was suggested by AlphaTrilogy, and the artists that contributed found it to be challenging. However, they did a beautiful job of actually succeeding to all contribute pieces that helped reach that theme. And this piece definitely fits within that. It's called The Last Warrior, and this is again a nod to his love for nature and his direct surroundings, but he's also wanting to convey in this particular piece that nature is a master and she teaches us to live. And what he has said about this particular piece is, especially in the evening when the sounds of the world are beginning to quiet, the calm helps tidy your mind. You perceive sensations that are normally slumbering. You engage with your inner self, isolating yourself and your thoughts. Walking along these fields is a magical experience. Nature painted this for us. While you're wandering, searching for insight, you can find meaning here among the flowers. Suddenly, the last hit of the colors breaks the clouds like an idea. It runs through the unconscious and lights up something extraordinary. This something suggests that you're not alone. You don't fight the burden of life merely relying on your own strength. These sunflowers, compact and calm, have the awareness that together nothing could be too much to deal with or could be too strong to give up against. If you look carefully, there is always a friend or a lover to count on. You have only to observe and wait for that ray of light that points to the buddy with whom you'll make the journey of life together. So absolutely great description to relate this particular beautiful image to the whole theme for that particular collection, but also just a beautiful sentiment to go along with a gorgeous photo. And AlphaTrilogy's note about this particular piece says it seems that everyone loves sunflowers. You don't think of them in any sense as alone. You think about them in fields together. If a tree could talk, would it tell us that these sunflowers working together provided it with comfort and support? That's what I see. So this is a great way of kind of rounding out this particular part of our series. This piece is an absolutely beautiful one, but reminding us that we are all basically in this together. But again, we really wanted to feature the landscape genre as one in which appreciates our natural surroundings and is one in which so many of us can connect with. Again, this is the third slide that's being included in this exhibit. There'll be 12 different episodes of this particular series, highlighting each of the 98 photos and 90 photographers that are included in this in real life exhibit. Again, it's happening right now in Venice, Italy. So if you're able to visit the location, we know that you will definitely enjoy visiting Venice Biennale, which is exhibiting some of the top work in the world. It's a fair that happens every 2 years. I'm super excited to be visiting as well, but also very excited to be able to share the works from these artists at such an amazing and prestigious art fair. So we're sharing our passion for photography and Web3 by being able to highlight the artists included in this particular exhibit. And again, this is episode 3 of a series of 12. We've already shared our documentary series and the portrait series. We have 2 more series that will feature different overall landscape genre, but also including some subgenres and many others to follow. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please check out the show notes to be able to connect with the the artists. Each of the collections that we featured are really wonderful to explore, and there are definitely pieces still available in these particular collections. And I hope if you enjoyed this, please like and share, comment below. Let us know if you have any questions. You're welcome to connect with us on MetaJungle. Our social media tag is MetaJungle NFT, so connect with us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, follow along on Facebook, and also join our Discord community. You can find a link for our Discord in our bio on our Twitter page. But again, this is Emma signing off, but hope you enjoyed this and look forward to seeing you on our next episode.